Fasten your chin strap and put your pads on. Get a grip on the bat, here comes a fastball. We ain't going one and done, we're here to last long. This the top of the standards, get ready to blast off. Alright, let's do this. Bang! Bang! Every Sunday afternoon, big sports fanatics coming out your speakers like a piston running with magic. Game time status good to go is automatic. Ready for the blowouts and the instant classics. Calling all the teachers, all the fathers and the mothers. Calling all the kids, all the sisters and the brothers. Dynamic high schoolers in the game like no other preseason. Game 7s, hey, y'all know we got it covered. From the finals to the Super Bowl to the World Series to the Stanley Cup final. Over here we spit it clearly. Andrew Hale and Jotham Israel coming with the hottest topics. Hey, you know what's up with sports. People wanting it, we got it. Yeah, get in the game. It's the top of the standards, man. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards. Yo, get in the game. It's the top of the standards, man. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards. Come on. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards, man. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards. Yo, get in the game. It's the top of the standards, man. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards. Come on.
Yeah, top of the standards. That's what it's about, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, season 2 is here, baby. Yes, Jotham Israel and Andrew Hale, we're back and better than ever. Yes, we got a ton of sports to talk about, as always. And yes, I can rap. I produced the song, I wrote the lyrics, and I rapped it. That is my voice. Yes, you guys better believe it. But before we get started...
Have you ever wanted to create a podcast? Well, if your answer is yes, then download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started right now. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Here, let me explain. It's free. Yes, free. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many others. Yes, you heard that right. It's that simple to get your voice heard around the world right now. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer to truly make your podcast perfect. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And lastly, get this, you can make money with no minimum listenership. Who doesn't like money? It doesn't get easier than Anchor, so again, head on over to your phone's app store and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. At the beginning of the season, if I were to tell you that Georgetown, Oregon State, I'm still going, Texas, don't worry, I still got another one, Georgia Tech, if I told you they were all going to win their respective conferences, what would have been your response?
You're insane, dude. You must be really relying on Vegas for your mortgages, because that is some insane predictions. That would have been insane.
Well, some people definitely won big money if they bet on those teams, because all of the teams I just mentioned, they all did it. They all somehow were able to win their heavily, I would say, competitive, because, Oregon State, the Pac-12, I mean, it is competitive, but nowhere near, the Big 12. But, some crazy teams won their respective conferences yesterday. Teams that we did not expect.
No, dude. I mean, to be honest, this has been a season for Georgia Tech out of nowhere. Like, we had heard absolutely nothing of Georgia Tech. I mean, in the ACC, it was all Florida State and Virginia. Maybe a lot of attention on North Carolina for their slow start and fast finish and stuff like that. And maybe even Duke, too, because they were so bad and they are always the headliner in the ACC. But, dude, when I tell you Georgia Tech came out of nowhere, they came out of absolutely nowhere. Some of these other teams, I've seen a couple of their games. I think I've seen a couple of Hoyas games, seen a couple of maybe a Beavers game or two. Georgia Tech literally just snatched the ACC from everybody, just absolute steal, like Sly Cooper. I'm like, yo, this Georgia Tech team. And then what I love about Georgia Tech is their coach's energy. Their energy is A1. That coach was shouting out Reese Davis and Seth Greenberg and all the boys at ESPN. I'm like, yo, this is dope. He is so cool.
Yeah, his team, they were impressive. I couldn't name one player. I haven't even watched one of their games, but just seeing them able to win that. I mean, this year it was a little bit less competitive, but still, year in and year out, it's going to be competitive. They were able to win their conference. That's just so impressive.
First time in 28 years. 28 years. That is absolutely insane. Now, I felt like there was some drought with Georgia Tech, winning the ACC tournament. I felt like, but dude, that had to feel sweet for that Yellow Jackets program because, dude, I mean, I felt like they were going to get in that large bid for some reason because they had such a good record and it was so under the radar. Nobody even really knew about it. But you know what? It doesn't matter to them. They won the tournament. They're going dancing. And I mean, I think one of the players, Jose Alvarado, I think that's his name. And he was so emotional after winning the ACC championship. I'm like, if this team is so hyped for winning the ACC, just imagine what happens if they get to winning in March Madness in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I think it would be electric. I mean, it's almost like South Carolina the other year.
yeah, that would have that team was this Georgia Tech team. I'm saying it right now. We got to watch out because they might be maybe a sneaky. I got to see where they put them put them in the brackets tonight, but they could be a solid 5-4 seed, maybe a 3 seed if they don't have many teams to bump up there. Dude, that is insane. But Drew, I want to just highlight the fact that the Big 12 was the best tournament out of all the tournaments. I mean, did you see the quarterfinals, the scores for the quarterfinals? It was so airtight. It was a full day of basketball. I had no choice but to put that game on while e-learning. I had no choice. It was Big 12 basketball.
Dude, I've said this week in and week out. Fade for Cade. It needs to be said. I mean, come on. If whoever gets the first pick, I mean, it's either him or Evan Mobley. Those two players, even Evan Mobley in the Pac-12 tournament, played well. But Cade Cunningham, I'm telling you, whoever gets that first pick and they need a guard, I would not hesitate to scoop him up.
No, I'm just playing. But yeah, look, even though Oklahoma State was the runner-up for the Big 12 tournament, dude, masterful season for the Cowboys, man. And you know what? I will always come back to this when I think about this Oklahoma State season. Cade Cunningham had the choice to not play college basketball because of an apparent postseason ban, which apparently is being upheld or something. Something is changing, so the Cowboys can play in the NCAA tournament. But that's besides the point. Cade Cunningham had the option to not go to Oklahoma State. And he said, you know what? I'm staying the course. I'm going to stick to Oklahoma State. When's the last time Oklahoma State had this good of a season? I don't know. But Cade Cunningham is a legend. He is a college legend. And he has a chance to make real history in the NCAA tournament. I can't wait. I think he might do something similar to what Carson Edwards did for Purdue last time out in the NCAA tournament. Carson Edwards, dude that was dropping 30 every game.
Of course, Purdue, and now plays for the Celtics. Very good player. I'm almost thinking Buddy Hield for Oklahoma.
Interesting. Even though it's the other side of Bedlam. Very interesting. But yeah, dude. I mean, congratulations to Texas as well. They had a great season. Shaka Smart. I think some people were saying he's his season's getting a little hot or something. Texas is being a little underwhelming. I'm like, whoa. Can we realize that this is not the football program? This is not the football program. This is the basketball program.
I don't know why they have such high expectations for Texas. I mean, I think they did well with what they were given.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here like, you act like they're getting 5-star recruits year in and year out, and they're having double-digit losses every season. Like, dude, chill out. It's Texas. It's the Big 12. It's not like, Texas is supposed to be, automatically, kind of like the Duke of the South.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I was like, whoa, Shaka Smart is a good coach. What are y'all talking about? Chill out.
Yeah. Year in and year out, they're always decent. I mean, they haven't really been too terrible.
Yeah, but I want to talk about Baylor because it's like they were pretty sus in that Big 12 tournament. Kansas State, you remember they lost to a D2 team earlier this year? Yeah, they gave the Bears a fight. That was sus. And then obviously they lost to Oklahoma State, which was but dude, letting Kansas State throw jabs at you and you getting stumbled a little bit, that's a bit sus for Baylor.
Dude, what happens when you play competition? Real competition, real pressure. What happens?
In the right spots.
Yep. I think we saw maybe their true colors. Who knows? Maybe we'll have to see how far they get in the March Madness tournament. But up until this point, they haven't played too many teams worth their time. So I think they proved why in their tournament that maybe it'll be a tough road.
Yeah, especially recently. I don't think I think this last month they've been getting real challenged. I mean, they had the West Virginia game. Iowa State even gave them a rough. That's another thing. Iowa State, didn't win a conference game this year, and they almost did it against Baylor. I'm like, Baylor, this is looking a little sus going into March Madness. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on them. If they lose to a 16 seed, I'm gonna lose my mind. Um, uh, yeah, and that's that for the Big 12. I think they're neck and neck with the Big 10. I mean, neck and neck. I've been saying it, progressively all year long. Like the Big 12 is trying to make a statement for the best conference. I think Big 10 and Big 12 are neck and neck. So, yeah, that's amazing. What's also amazing, especially for a Michigan State fan like yourself, is that Michigan choked.
Well,
Kind of.
they hadn't they. I mean, two injured players in their first couple, conference tournament games. I mean, I would say they choked. I think it was a pretty close game. It was a tough loss, but I'll take it.
Yeah, as soon as I said choked, I'm like, not choke. I mean, they had the ball, they had the last shot down by one, and they just threw one up. So I'm just like, eh. But yeah, they had some injuries. I don't know how much of a pass I'm going to give Michigan for putting up that shot at the end, but Illinois and Ohio State. We got a couple of football matchups in conference championship games. We got Illinois, Ohio State. I know Illinois is not that prominent of a football program right now, but they were, back in the day, somewhat, just a little bit. And then I'm watching LSU and Alabama right now, which is such a weird SEC championship game in basketball.
It is, dude. I'm trying to see some Sharif O'Neal.
Oh my goodness, dude! I'm excited. This is March Madness. I mean, teams coming out of nowhere. I think we made a reference last year about teams coming out of nowhere. I mean, obviously last year's March Madness didn't happen, but dude, this is almost the same thing. I mean, all these random teams winning conference championships and stuff like. I'm like, this is awesome. No Duke, no Kentucky, no Kansas as their respective champions of their conferences. We all get to see new faces, new teams. Texas never won the Big 12 championship, which absolutely blows my mind considering they had Kevin Durant back in the day. But oh my gosh, this is awesome, and we haven't even discovered the bracket yet, Drew.
And it'll be a wild ride. I don't know who's gonna get in. I don't know who's not gonna get in. It's going to be crazy.
Oh my gosh, and then you got Oregon State out here stealing bubble bids and stuff like that, dude. There were so many nervous Beaver fans in that arena last night, bro. I was like, yo, this could be their first one ever. Oh my gosh, they're I mean, it was nerve wracking. I was like, come on, Beavers. I don't dislike the Buffaloes to any extent, but I'm like, yo, I like seeing people win their first, programs win their first ever.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of rooting for Colorado, but it's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, we've been saying it for weeks. March Madness. We finally got to see conference championships. It's felt like so long. Oh man, got to be grateful, man.
Oh yeah.
Okay, dude, let's talk about the NBA. So we just got back in action in the regular season, yada yada, this and that. But I want to talk about the All-Star game for a little bit. Giannis was right. As soon as we saw the starting lineup for Team LeBron, it was pretty much over. It was pretty much over.
Yeah, when you have a team with LeBron James, Steph Curry, Giannis, you can't beat them. You should have just walked off the court. I mean, I know it's an All-Star game, but give up already.
With the Joker too. Oh my gosh. Yo, I was like, this is not even fair. And obviously, Embiid and Simmons didn't play because of contact tracing and whatever. And we'll get to those two later. But yeah, that All Star game was an underwhelming blowout. But you know what? The competitions were pretty fun. Um, Vucevic almost beat Sabonis, almost, but they can't knock. But he just couldn't knock down the 3-pointer.
Sabonis is by far the most skilled big man, in my opinion. Athletic wise, because I know you got Jokic who can pass and do ultimately anything, but just from an athletic standpoint, I definitely think Sabonis is most athletic and well put together big man for sure.
Yeah, he's been the rising star for the Pacers over the past couple years. I mean, he's been kind of overshadowed by Oladipo when he was there. I'm like, everybody was like, Oladipo, oh man, most improved player. This dude's a legend. He could make a great career in Indiana. Yeah, yeah. Meanwhile, Sabonis is, growing as a player. I'm just like, yo, he's worthy of All-Star. And I'm just like, I'm glad the Pacers get something.
Yeah.
Because they've had some stars leave. Obviously, Oladipo gets traded, and we know Paul George, Mr. Bounce Around until he gets a chip. And yeah, I mean, the Pacers are still somewhat a little bit competitive. I mean, in the playoff race, we'll see what they can, do. But yeah, so bonus wins the skills challenge. Steph Curry just barely won the 3-point shooting contest, and I say barely not because he was not exactly shooting the lights out. He was shooting the lights out, but Michael Conley came out of nowhere and gave this man. I mean, I didn't think Mike Conley was a bad 3-point shooter, but I didn't think he was going to go toe to toe with Curry like that.
Yeah, going into the competition, I immediately ruled Mike Conley out. I was like, yeah, this dude he's done first round, and he definitely proved me wrong because he got quite a few points for not being known as a 3-point shooter. So I was surprised, but congrats to him for keeping it close.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, Curry won on the last shot. I mean, Curry wide open in the corner with a second to breathe and stroke his shot. Oh, brother, yeah, he was not missing that. But I mean, give credit to Conley, man. I hope he can do that in the playoffs. I really do hope he can do that kind of sharpshooting in the playoffs. I'm not saying he can't, but I just really want him to, so the Jazz can win the finals. But yeah, dude, that was awesome. But I mean, the dunk contest. I mean, what did you think about the dunk contest? I feel like it was, I mean, 50, just. Your thoughts?
It hasn't been good. Last year was pretty good, but before that, probably since Levine and Gordon battles, and that hasn't really been good. Last year or this time, it was not great either. I thought Obi Toppin was robbed, but I don't know. Anthony Simons, I don't know. He didn't even kiss the rim and he won. Come on.
I mean, what he just. Ugh. He's like he just poked at the rim and just like, no, your breath stinks, rim. No, thank you.
I think he wasn't trying to lose a tooth. Going full speed into the rim.
Maybe not. I mean, I don't know if I would do that for a dunk competition. I mean, imagine oh my gosh, I can't lose a tooth like that, dude. No way. But Obi Toppin, yeah, I feel like he got kind of robbed. I mean, it's not like his dunks were Showtime, get up out your chair and, go ballistic crazy. But Anthony Simons, that last dunk was, I mean, he didn't even do a windmill or anything like that. He just really jumped. It was kind of like a warm-up dunk.
Yeah, Obi Toppin did a windmill over two people.
Yeah. I don't know anymore, dude. This is a contest. Let's see. After Aaron Gordon got robbed the second time, I was
I think
Lord,
you need
I'm
Miles
still mad
Bridges
about
back
it.
in there.
Oh, Miles Bridges. Oh my gosh. Get Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges versus Aaron Gordon. That's all we needed. But you know what? Aaron Gordon probably ain't gonna come back because he got robbed twice. Come on, NBA. You gotta do better with this, man. That he was supposed to win at least one of those dunk contests. The second one is he jumped over freaking Taco Fall. I have my reaction still posted on YouTube when I was screaming when he jumped over Taco Fall. I was so heated when they gave freaking Derrick Jones Jr. I mean, he had some good dunks too, but bro, you jumped over Taco Fall.
And a mascot on a hoverboard going and spinning around.
But under both of your legs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, dude! I am forever heated. Magic, the Orlando Magic is a franchise of robbery. We are used to getting robbed. We're getting robbed of slam dunk champions. We're getting robbed of true competition. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say, dude. But you know what? At least I can say that the Lakeland Magic won the G League Finals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can say that. So, I don't know what that's actually going to do for the Orlando Magic, but congrats.
I don't know either. But just to say that the Magic have won the championship is probably enough for me right now as we tank for Cade. Oh boy. Yeah, all eyes on that. But yeah, we're just gonna keep on looking at this NBA season. I mean, primetime games haven't started kicking in yet, really,
What do you
because of
mean?
March
The Pistons were playing the Nets on NBA TV last night. That's as prime time as you can get.
You know what? That was a decently close game. I mean, Blake Griffin in the return. Well, not return to
Yeah, he
Detroit,
didn't play.
but that was a decent game.
All year they've been playing tough against the top competition. I wasn't surprised. I mean, the young guys, they've been playing well. Troy Weaver did a very good job at, drafting picks and, getting all these players to, keep them competitive while still losing. That's why they are, in my opinion, the best, worst team of all time.
Speaking of Troy Weaver, he made a move this week, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. We were just talking about, dunk contests. He has just, traded Svi Mihailovic for Hamidou Diallo from the Thunder, his former team. So again, he has connections to the Thunder, but Diallo was the 2019 Slam Dunk competition winner. He was a player who dunked over Shaq and put his arm in the rim. Superman. He's a good player. I mean, I think that's an upgrade. Svi Mihailovic, he was struggling all year with his 3-point shooting. Very good shooter though. Other than that, can't really do too much. Diallo, I mean, a lot of Thunder fans were very upset that they let him go. So I'm excited about the trade. I mean, now with that trade, the Pistons are now the second youngest team with the average age of being 24.
God, oh my, 24?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. I mean, not to act like Detroit has a lot of little kids on their team, but dude, that's very young. That's a lot to look forward to and build on.
Oh yeah, I mean, just look at the players right now. I mean, all of the rookies aside from Killian Hayes, who got hurt 7 games into the season, their 7th pick. Everyone besides him is playing well. Even Rodney Magruder almost dropped a double-double on your head yesterday. So he could have been awarded the MVP if he actually got the 3 rebounds. But Rodney Magruder even playing well. I mean, it's crazy to think that the Pistons' first pick in last year's draft is now the longest tenured Piston.
Wait, who was their first round? I'm sorry, I just brain farted.
Sekou.
Oh,
20 years old.
Yeah, that's the pure definition of a rebuild. What you're doing, that is a rebuild.
Retool. Troy Weaver had a fantastic quote. He was in the press conference the other day. He was talking about how his dad liked to collect antique cars, right? And he told him that he can only retool the greats. And then he dropped one of the best quotes I've ever heard. He said, "You can't retool the Atlanta Hawks. You can't retool the Minnesota Timberwolves. You can retool the Detroit Pistons, meaning the Atlanta Hawks, the Minnesota Timberwolves have never been great. Pistons have been.
Oh my! As soon as he said you can't. Oh, that's disrespectful.
Dude.
Is that why you like the quote?
No, it's true though. I mean, Minnesota, they've never been good. Atlanta, they've never been good. The Pistons have 3 NBA championships. So, I love that quote. That was such a good quote. I mean, that just gets you fired up for the future.
I mean, I think the Hawks have won an NBA championship before, but the Pistons have 3. So, yeah, they have nothing on Detroit in terms of history. let's be real,
I mean,
man.
not many teams do. I mean, you can think about the Celtics, you can think about the Lakers, you can think about the Bulls. Other than that,
Who has what on Detroit?
Mm-hmm.
Especially since they have one of the best. Oh my god.
The bad boys. Come on, 2 championships. I say it, Thomas. Come on, one of the greatest players of all time.
I think that 03-04 championship will be the best ever. Until further notice for the Pistons franchise, because that
I think one of the best ever, if not the greatest championship of all time.
That's just, I mean, the way they just dominated. I mean, who 4-1's Kobe in the finals? I mean,
hey, that's the second time the Pistons did it against the Lakers in the finals.
That's insane. Get these 2 in the finals this year and see what happens.
Oh yeah, hey, we already beat the Lakers once this year. We took them to double overtime the second time.
Just substitute Kobe for LeBron, and there we go. 03-04 again.
No, I want LeBron. I want Pistons LeBron against Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart, Jeremy Grant. Come on.
Oh my gosh, Jeremy Grant could drop 35, 6 and 9. Let's see it. I want to see it, dude. I'm dead serious, but yeah, dude, that retool quote was nasty. That was nasty. That was nasty. All right, dude, let's slap start our way to hockey. I'm happy because we've won 7 in a row.
Nice.
Now, granted, the Lightning, they're still leading the division, but you know what? There was one day where you beat the living crap out of the Lightning, and you gave us possession of first place for about a day or 2.
See, I wouldn't say we destroyed the Lightning. It got scary at the end. We were up 6-2, right? We were up 6-2. Actually, I think it was 6-2 with 4 minutes remaining in the third, and the final score was 4-6 or something like that. But we gave up 2 goals in a matter of 2 minutes in the third to cut down the lead. It got scary at the end, but it was our first win against the Lightning since November. I don't think, actually, it was our first win against the Lightning in regulation since 2015, and that's why you may be confused why I always hate on the Lightning. That's why, because the Red Wings have had no success against them at all. At least, I think the last time they even beat them was March 7th of last year in a game. So it's been 21 tries in regulation since the Red Wings last beat the Lightning.
Oh gosh. And even when you did beat them last time, they still got a point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least you handed them a goose egg, and that makes me happy. I mean, it's the best of both worlds. If the mission to tank is still intact, and and our mission to reverse tank is still intact, then we're both good. This benefits both of us. The Red Wings beat the Lightning. The Lightning have nothing on the Hurricanes. That's a good plan for me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. I guess we'll have to see how the rest of the season transpires. Hopefully, you can keep it going.
Yeah, and that's until we lose to Detroit in a shootout tonight or something like that. But if that happens,
the Red Wings haven't even been to a shootout. They always lose with like 1 minute left in overtime, or 30 seconds into overtime. I just want to see a shootout.
Oh geez, yeah, I would hope so. I mean, you got to get at least one. I mean, this is a 7. I forget which has the 72 game season and which has the 56 game season. The NBA or the NHL.
I think NBA 72.
because the NHL they're like they're halfway. Some teams haven't even reached 28, so and we're halfway through the season. So yeah, I think NHL has the 56. But yeah, I'm glad my Hurricanes are doing somewhat well. I hope we won't have to fight the Blackhawks for the fourth spot or the Blue Jackets. I hope they can, I think that fourth place spot. I hope that fourth place spot can remain a two team race between the Hawks and the Jackets. I like where we're at. 7 in a row, like I said. I'm not going to speak about the Red Wings series this week because I don't want to say anything about that. But we're just going to let what happens happen, and hopefully the Lightning don't win the division. Go Panthers. Go Hurricanes too.
Go anything but the Lightning and the Blackhawks.
Yeah. Go, just go Hurricanes. But the Eastern Division is on. Yeah, and I feel like the Penguins are. This is gonna be tough, but I think the Penguins might have what it takes to be the first place team in this division.
I don't know. That's tough to tell. They've lost some talent, but I suppose they're decent enough to win it. I don't know.
I mean, I like what the Islanders have done. They've won 8 in a row, season high for any team in the league. Obviously, the Capitals are doing somewhat well. Capitals are the Capitals. Good regular season. We don't know what happens come playoff time. The Bruins are in fourth place. Flyers, can you do me a favor and snatch that fourth place spot so the Bruins don't make the playoffs?
I second that. Come on, Flyers.
This is tough. I see a lot of Eastern Division games. They have so many Rangers games, and I want to know why. Why do they have so many Rangers games? I get it, original 6, but my gosh, the Rangers suck.
I mean, hey, I guess they got the first pick. It's like Zion with the Pelicans.
I mean, who else did they need to tank for? They got Lafreniere.
I know. I mean, that's why they get all the games, because they have the first pick, trying to see this new generational talent.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's gonna be a bust, but he's not there just yet. The Rangers need to make the playoffs. Okay, Rangers they need to make the playoffs before I take them seriously. Because last time they sniffed the Stanley Cup postseason competition, we know we tapped that. We tapped that here in Carolina. We tapped that last year. So, yeah, I gotta see it to believe it.
Yeah, I guess you make a fair point.
Speaking of see it to believe it, this week on our Canadian tracker, well, the Canadians lost 2 in a row to the Flames last time I checked, and the Flames they're clawing closer to the Canadians, 2 points away from taking them over.
What'd I say? Come on, let's keep it going.
Oh boy, dude, why are the Canadians like this? I don't understand it. I just don't understand it, dude. I'm not even a Canadians fan, but dude, this I say this, it's like a broken record, Drew. This sucks for a Canadians fan, man.
Year in and year out.
Oh dear. Whew. But you know what? Sticking with Canada, bro. Did you see did you see anything of what the Oilers have done this week?
I've seen a few Connor McDavid goals.
Dude, first of all, Oilers are a really good team. I think the Oilers finally have somebody to compliment Connor McDavid for real. Like, for real compliment Connor McDavid. What is the name? Leon Draisaitl?
Draisaitl, yeah. I mean, he won the MVP last year, so.
Yeah, bro. I think they're finally building a squad around these two guys.
Yeah, about time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing all this talk about Connor McDavid being the best player in the league, and it's just like Mike Trout in the Angels. Like, why if he's the best player, can we build a good team around him so we can see him in the postseason for crying out loud? I mean, yeah, Mike Trout's made the playoffs before, but still, I'm just glad the Oilers are finally making something out of everything, literally.
Yeah, they had their best run about 2 years ago where, I can't, was it the Golden Knights? I forgot. Maybe it was the Blues. I don't remember who eliminated them 2 years ago, but they made a pretty deep run. Other than that, since, they haven't done too much, obviously lost to the Blackhawks, which was disgusting
Yeah,
last year.
I don't know how they did that. I don't know how they lost to the Blackhawks in that series. Just yeah. But yeah, you know what? I'm also going to say this. I think somebody's going to catch the Maple Leafs sometime soon.
Yeah, I think it's probably inevitable. I again, I just don't see them doing anything in the playoffs. I don't think they're that dominant to the point where they can make a deep run.
No matter how good they are in the regular season.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Just no. I
No,
mean,
no
it's
chance.
like the Canadians, right?
I mean,
Like the postseason version of the Canadians.
I guess, but the Maple Leafs don't necessarily make a big drop. They just don't play well. I mean, they're in first place most of the time. I mean, last season, and then they advance to the playoffs, and then they always encounter some team that gives them a difficult time, and then they ultimately lose.
Right. All those game sevens to the Bruins. Jeez. But look, I want to give a team credit right now because I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Minnesota Wild.
Ooh, back-to-back weeks.
Back-to-back weeks, dude. Dude, look, they won 3 in a row. They won back-to-back games against Vegas. That was impressive, even though they almost gave it up. They were it was pretty much you know, they scored 3 goals in the third period. What was it, Tuesday? And they were up 4-1. Got a little scary. It was a 1-goal game, and Vegas got some good shots on goal in the last minute, but the Wild held on. And you know what? I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I want to see the Minnesota Wild, bro.
Yeah, we went from who's talking about the Minnesota Wild to Jotham has finally mentioned the Minnesota Wild to back-to-back weeks. The Wild have been in or featured in top of the standings. That's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess I'm here with you. I mean, I don't really care about the Wild. I mean, they're just. I mean, if they win, they win. I mean, they probably deserve it. It's been quite some time. I remember they were pretty decent in the early 2010s. I mean, they always consistently make the playoffs, but again, they haven't really been able to do too much.
Yeah, I guess you have a point there. I mean, I haven't seen too much Wild hockey myself, so I'm just excited to see new teams because obviously television is not the most forgiving when it comes to showing new teams.
Yeah.
I mean, although I have seen a couple of Ducks games and a couple of Kings games here and there. So I'm glad I'm getting to see new teams. I'm still waiting. I gotta see another Coyotes game. But I mean, hey, I don't know. The Coyotes, if they get on the hot streak, they can contend for that 4th seed.
Yeah, they're trying to make it last in their final season in their division. I mean, hey, we got the Kraken next year. They're gonna take their spots. The Coyotes, they're trying to make the most out of their spot in their division right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's still gonna be out west, but yeah, I'm gonna be very interested to see what the NHL does with the new division alignment. I mean,
I heard a lot of teams wanted to make, or from when I was watching the Red Wings game, they mentioned how a lot of the Canadian teams want to play each other more often. So maybe we'll get an entirely new schedule arrangement where we see a lot of Canadian games and stuff like that.
yeah, this should be exciting. I mean, there's going to be a lot of, in all sports outside of the NFL, because the NFL, there's not really much you can do about their schedule. It's only 16 games, and what travel restrictions can you put on them? They make the Lions play the Packers 4 times?
Oh,
No.
yeah, that's quite fun.
Yeah, no. But I will say this. I'm sorry, dude, but do you think the Blues made the right move by giving Jordan Binnington that extension?
That's a tough one because I was thinking the same thing. After their Stanley Cup run, he has kind of struggled a little bit. I mean, did you see the highlight of him maybe last week going off on like the other team. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Essentially, he got ejected, but on the way out, he just started swinging on the other team's goalie and stuff. I don't know. I mean, he's a good goalie. I mean, but ever since their Stanley Cup run, he hasn't really done too much.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot from the Blues. There, not only is their scoring, digressing, but Bennington hasn't been that kind of lockdown goalie that people thought he was. I'm like, I mean, he did come out of nowhere.
Yeah, because he was so good. He was so good in that run.
Oh my gosh! But after that, it was just like, those were kind of stagnant. I mean,
it was kind of reminded me of like Bryce Harper.
Yeah,
a player of that caliber. Doing real well game in and game out, and then starting to slowly regress. And then, I mean, I guess Bryce Harper's making his way back up to superstardom in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but Jordan Bennington, I mean, I hope he recovers because the Blues kind of on a downward spiral right now a little bit. I would be salty if I was a Blues fan and I missed the playoffs because I did worse than the Kings and the Coyotes or something like that. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to come to that. I think they'll do good enough to, maybe score a date with the Avalanche in the first round or something like that. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Because obviously Vegas, as for right now, they still rule the West. I have a feeling this is their year, dude. I have a feeling that for whatever reason, this is the year that the Vegas Golden Knights break through and win the Stanley Cup.
Could be. I mean, this is like a reoccurring segment. Hey, if we can only hope. I hope the Golden Knights they are able to pull it off. If they aren't, I mean, they're still a new team in the league. I hope they do. I really want to see it.
Yeah. The only thing is, man, I'm gonna miss those theatrics. I'm gonna miss those theatrics. The energy that they displayed in their first postseason run. Dude,
did they play? Who did they play? Wasn't their first series against like it was
Kings?
It was because I remember watching it because their first ever game came on right after the Penguins and Flyers. I don't know if you remember that. It was like literally right after.
Oh, you're talking about like their first inaugural
yeah, because that was crazy.
Okay.
The theatrics with like I think Lil Jon outside performing, and then inside they had like the glow sticks and the crowd.
Dude, if there's one franchise that you bandwagon, it's that franchise, dude. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights brand is starting to become something serious, dude.
Dude, after the wagon was created, then I feel like it's okay to hop on because you see the Lakers, their wagon has been going for almost probably 75 years. I don't know when the Lakers were created, but they've had a pretty long running wagon. The Golden Knights, their wagon was just created. They haven't even gotten the dirt on the wheels. They're just getting going. I think it's okay that I was able to hop on the wagon in their inaugural season.
Me too a little bit. I mean, I was very, impressed. I mean, at the time, I didn't really discover what the Hurricanes, really were about. So I was really, looking for teams like, okay, let me see what this league is really about now that we got this new team coming in. Vegas, I could have very well have been a Golden Knights fan, but
I know I figured you would be because didn't you say you like Carolina for their after win theatrics?
Oh yeah, dude, that storm surge got me going ballistic, and then some analyst said that the Carolina Hurricanes were a bunch of jerks. That got me sent. Yep. That set me off. That set me off for real. I'm like, you know what? I'm a Canes fan now. Let's do it.
That became their slogan.
Yes, dude. Oh man, I will never forget that run. Still salty that we got swept by the Bruins in the conference finals, but at least the Blues avenged me.
Yes.
Oh man, that was so sweet. This my friend who's a Blackhawks fan. He was on my ear all postseason. Like, dude, the Blues are not gonna win the Stanley Cup. Dude, it's good. The Bruins are gonna mop they're gonna mop the Blues. I'm like, bro, look, watch the Bruins get clapped in Game 7. You may think it's sweet. Just because a team loses Game 6 at home doesn't mean they'll lose Game 7 automatically. And then the Blues just all over Boston. I'm like, yeah, that's what y'all get.
The best moment from that series was the trophy celebration where they forgot to mute the on-ice mics. You remember that? Literally,
Oh
you could
my
hear
gosh.
everything that they were saying, dude. That was hilarious.
I need another one of those moments, man. Oh my gosh. Ooh, man, that was awesome. But yeah, hopefully we can see something like that in this year's Stanley Cup final. And oh boy, speaking of Stanley Cup finals, we might have an alternation. Because guess what, Drew? Guess what? I got what I wanted.
Oh.
I got my NHL on ESPN.
Oh, there you go. Finally, about time. Dude, if Gary Thorne is calling games, I'm gonna be ecstatic. That's my favorite announcer of all time. Gary Thorne's a legend.
Really?
By far. I mean, I remember growing up NHL. That's all I played on the Xbox 360. That's all I played day in and day out. Gary Thorne. It was so much fun to listen to. Still is calling Orioles games, but I need to see him back calling NHL on ESPN.
Okay, yeah, because I got 2K10, and Ovechkin's on the cover, and the game's not bad. I mean, the gameplay is pretty awesome. I just completed my first full game with penalties on. I had never played a hockey game with penalties until this morning. And I got frustrated with all the penalties I was drawing. I'm like, dude, how is that a penalty? They're like, number something, boarding. Yep. I'm like, boarding? What are you talking about? I just pushed dude into the boards. But then it's boarding.
Yeah, you can't push them head first into there.
Oh my gosh, I was like, okay, I'm really starting to learn hockey. So
there you go.
Yeah, one day we got to go 1-on-1.
Oh yeah, you're about to get destroyed, 20-0.
Dude, the early 2000s, especially with the Red Wings teams. I mean, Red Wings had pretty good teams.
They did up until 2015. Yeah,
but the 2000s Red Wings were something nice. They were not. I mean, what's his name? Pavel Datsyuk. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep, Pavel Datsyuk, Henrik Zetterberg.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, those Red Wings teams were A1. Yeah, dude. But yeah, NHL on ESPN. I'm glad it's back. I hope EA Sports can put it into the next NHL video game for some reason. Because last time I checked, it's EA Sports. Shouldn't they have possession of the ESPN license if they're so exclusive?
They had the NBC license. In the newest games, they would have the logo come onto the ice.
Exactly. So can we cut the whole? This is NHL on EA Sports. Give me the ESPN broadcast package, man. Let's do it. Okay, dude, I want to tap on the NFL offseason a little bit because, I mean, we've heard a little bit of rumors, but I heard the Dolphins released Kyle Van Noy after I think a 4-year contract last year. I've seen that's weird. That's odd.
I mean, it depends. Maybe he didn't fit the scheme. I don't know. Every team has reasons for their moves. I can't really put my finger on what was the reason. I mean, he was good with the Patriots. I don't really know what he did with the Dolphins, but maybe he just didn't fit what they were, their future.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, it saves them cap room. And then they just traded for the Texans, one of their linebackers. I think his name is Shaq Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess that's what the Dolphins were trying to do, get better at linebacker. Because, I mean, they have a pretty young, decent defense. Xavier Howard's one of the best corners in the league. Obviously their defensive line is, getting there. The whole Dolphins team is getting there. I mean, I didn't expect them to have a 10-win season last year. That was pretty impressive. And, obviously just keep building up. I mean, Tua's got time to grow. I like where the Dolphins are at. I mean, had some good draft picks, I'm excited to see them. They're one of the teams that I'm really, really excited to see.
Dude, I just wish they were able to get into the playoffs last year. But
yeah, dude, Dolphins Bills wild card would have been heated. It would have been heated. But dude, I want to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs for a second because a lot of people have been talking about, see the Chiefs, they're a fake dynasty. They're fake. Mahomes is a fraud. I'm like, whoa, 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 chill, hold on, pump the brakes on. Obviously, pump the brakes on the whole dynasty talk. They've only won one Super Bowl, but pump the brakes on them not becoming a dynasty. I mean, we don't know where they're going to go next year. I mean, they released their two offensive tackles, Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Mahomes was, just running for his life in the Super Bowl. Just he was, really, really not being helped out by his O line. Don't know why he would release his best too. So, makes a lot of sense, Kansas City.
Boy, hopefully they have an idea, because I mean, what are you going to focus on? I mean, Andrew, your defense. I mean, I've been saying the defense was sus all year. Sometimes they prove me wrong. In the Super Bowl, they prove me right. But obviously, that defense with Mahomes, of course, is enough to get to the Super Bowl. But obviously, the defense needs a little bit over. Maybe you can, get some help on the corners. Get some help with your secondary. Swanson, get some help for Tyrann Mathieu and Daniel Swanson. Because the secondary was getting shredded in the Super Bowl. Not in terms of dudes mossing them, but just drawing penalties and stuff like that. But the offensive line, if there was anything on the Chiefs that needed help, it was the offensive line depth. Releasing those two, that's very questionable. I know Eric Fisher, one of those two offensive linemen, had an Achilles injury or something, and they were injured and stuff like that. But I don't know, Drew. That's a little bit questionable. Hopefully, I really don't want Mahomes to become the next Russell Wilson, become a great quarterback, win a Super Bowl. The next year you lose the Super Bowl, and your team is never the same after that. If that happens, then Kansas City, come on. Mahomes is such a great quarterback. He's very talented, of course. That's a deadly quarterback. That's a deadly dude to have under center. I mean, he's so demoralizing, especially in the 2-minute drill. So you better get that offensive line straight, because a healthy Broncos defense, a healthy Chargers defense, and a Baltimore defense, if you let them just bully your offensive line, Mahomes, it doesn't matter how special he is. If he doesn't have time, at least a good, decent amount of time in that pocket, you might not be going to Super Bowls like that.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't understand the move. Maybe they'll draft an O-lineman. Not sure.
Maybe not. I mean, maybe there were some underrated offensive linemen that were really good in college football. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, that was a very controversial move. A lot of teams have obviously been making different moves for the sake of salary cap, and that move saved the Chiefs $23 million in salary cap. So they better put it to good use, because those were two good offensive linemen. But yeah, dude, I'm very excited. Tampa Bay extended Tom Brady, franchise tag to Chris Godwin, and Brady's under contract until he's 45. Can you believe that?
It's crazy. He's going to be winning Super Bowls until he's like 80 years old.
If he wins 8, I look, after this Super Bowl, people shouldn't be talking about GOAT conversations yet again. But if he wins an 8, then that's just a slap in the face to all of his haters. All right, Drew. Let's get into MVPs and LVPs. Who is your MVP?
Dude, I gotta say Georgetown. I mean, going in to your conference championship game at 12-12 is it's insane, and then ultimately winning. That's crazy. I mean, I respect them. I mean, I love when I wouldn't say terrible teams, but not as great, not as good teams, win, conference championships. So that was cool. I just had to give it to the Hoyas and Patrick Ewing. That's cool. I mean, one of the greatest. I mean, I wouldn't say one of the greatest players of all time, but we know what he did with the Knicks. I mean, congrats to him being the first player to win a Big East tournament championship as a player and now as a coach, first player coach to ever do that.
Yeah, and then it was the worst winning percentage for a Big
Yep.
East champion ever.
Yep.
Like they ran the table.
Dude, it's crazy. It's actually insane.
And to think, I was watching Georgetown and Villanova. The game was close. Georgetown could have very well lost that game. Villanova was still hanging in there with all the injuries that they had. Connor Gillespie and I forgot the other star's name. Dude, they escaped Villanova. They beat Seton Hall, and oh my gosh, I could have very easily handed Creighton the LVP for that performance. I did not expect Creighton to get clapped like that. They got clapped. You hear me? They got CLAPPED clapped.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did. I think it's crazy that Georgetown won. I mean, no one was talking about him before the season. Obviously, one of their better players transferred to Texas Tech, so I was just shocked all around.
Yeah, that was insane, and I mean, it was personal for Patrick Ewing. Obviously, going into MSG, I heard he was getting a little bit disrespected, by some people in the MSG. So, that was I wouldn't be surprised if that provided some motivation. But you know what? He's going dancing, so who cares?
Yeah, very well could have.
Yeah, that's just insane. Sticking with college basketball, I'm going to hand my MVP to the Gonzaga basketball programs. Now, on the men's side, I get it. Gonzaga, I mean, we expected them to win the West Coast Conference. It's not that, shocking that they did. But, they had a little bit of adversity against BYU and, came back from, down double digits, 14 points in the first half, and, beat BYU. Very satisfying if you ask me, for the Zags after losing to them last year, because the last team to beat Gonzaga was BYU. So, yeah. So that's the dub for the men's side. But on the women's side, Andrew, in the conference championship game for the WCC, on the women's side, it was the same matchup, BYU and Gonzaga. Bro, tell me why Gonzaga won on a buzzer beater. I mean, the jumper. Have you ever seen that Derek Fisher jump shot against the Spurs where he had like 0.4 to shoot the ball? It was like way back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I probably have.
Yeah, Derek Fisher, it was 73-72 Spurs, 0.4 on the clock or something like that. Derek Fisher just catches an inbound pass and just quickly chucks one up, and he scored. That was a walk-off. That's basically what the Gonzaga women's team did, and it was against BYU too. So, but you know what? As much as I could have handed the LVP to BYU for losing both of those games in the fashion that they did, I'm giving an MVP to Gonzaga, their basketball programs. The men's side because they stayed the course. The women's side because that buzzer beater was just absolutely insane.
Yeah, I like the decision. I mean, Gonzaga, I don't think anyone expected less of their men's program, but it's cool that their basketball program as a whole is being as successful as they are.
Yeah, when you have both your men's and your women's programs busting on the court, like say for example Baylor, dude, oh my gosh, the ticket prices for basketball games have to be skyrocket.
Yeah, if they allow fans.
Well, yeah, of course. Which that's something interesting we'll have to tap into too. But for now, Drew, I want to know who your LVP is.
This one was tough. There wasn't too many people who took like big L's this week, so I'm gonna have to just give it to the Timberwolves. I didn't know who else was as bad as they have been. I mean, they're 8-30, worst record in the NBA. I think only Karl Anthony Towns and the rest of their team they just really haven't done too much. I mean, Kat and D'Lo, they've only played like 8 games together in their entire almost 2 year probably of playing together. They've only played like 8 games, so it is kind of confusing how bad they are. I really don't know why they are so bad. I mean, it makes no sense to me. But 8-30, that's not good at all. At least they have started to win a few games over the past week, so that means that's giving the Pistons some better odds in the draft.
Yeah, it's tough. Speaking of the Detroit Pistons, my LVP. You remember how I gave the LVP to Rodney McGruder, and he's been balling
Okay, so
a
you're gonna do a
little bit.
little reverse jinx here.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my LVP to the lottery chances of the Detroit Pistons.
Okay, let's hear it.
Uh, yeah, I'm not giving my LVP to a person. I'm giving my LVP to a thing. So obviously, you and I both know the lottery hates Detroit for whatever reason. The lottery just does not, like Detroit for whatever reason. No matter how bad they are, no matter what the sport is, they just don't like Detroit. And now that, like you mentioned, the Timberwolves are being so bad, the Orlando Magic, they're on a giant losing streak. They are on the longest losing streak in the East right now. Um, Obviously, the Wizards were hovering there, although they're starting to win more games now, which is good for Detroit. Um, and obviously, the Rockets have lost, 15, 16 in a row, which, oh boy, I sure was looking at them like, this team might be a bit decent without Harden. Maybe they could make the play. Yeah. No, they're fighting for, well, I won't say they're fighting. I'm pretty sure they still think they can contend. But they're bad. The Timberwolves are bad. The Magic suck. I don't know how far down the Cavs are gonna fall. So, and even though Detroit has the second lowest winning percentage of the league, I got to give my LVP to their lottery chances, not because it's more competitive in the field of getting that number one pick, but also I want to see them get that number one pick for your sake.
Okay, so a little bit of a reverse jinx. I mean, it makes sense. I suppose, but at least the Pistons are keeping it competitive while losing. It could be a lot worse where you're getting blown out night in and night out. Instead, they're keeping it 3-point games against the best team in the East over the past week.
Yeah, glad you're not in my world. Very, very, very glad you're not in my world. All right, dude, let's get into some trivia. So, last week you asked us a question about March Madness, right?
Yeah, this one was kind of interesting. I asked, what college basketball team has the most points in a singular March Madness game? How many points did they have?
Um, I think I'm gonna say Duke just because they've had a lot of good teams in the past. I'm assuming they probably busted out on one of those 16 seeds.
Actually, they're not even in the top 9. So
Oh, really?
this one's going to catch you off guard. I've honestly never really heard of this college, team, but it's LMU. In
Loyola Marymount.
1990.
Wow.
1990. Guess how many points they had?
109?
149.
God. 140 plus?
Yep, in 1990, LMU of California.
Okay, that's scary for two reasons. One, many people may not have heard of that team before. Two, 149 was the number of my school district when I was in grade school and middle school. So that's two reasons why that's scary. Wow, Loyola Marymount.
See,
Wow.
I guess you were somewhat close with the Duke pick. North Carolina in 1988 had 123. That's the only, blue blood on this list. Oklahoma had 124 in 89, but LMU had 149 in 1990.
I knew I should have picked Michael Jordan's team. Wow. That was a good trivia question ahead of March Madness. If somebody drops 150, I'm looking at you, Drew.
Yes, we've had some spidey senses on this show, where something that we say it could very well happen. Who knows?
Oh yeah. Speaking of things that could very well happen, that leads me into my trivia question. Right now, this trivia question might get screwed since Alabama and LSU are battling it out right now. But I'm going to ask the question anyway. I'm going to ask, when was the last time that all of the number one seeds in the Power 5 conferences failed to win their conference tournament?
See, I was going to guess 2008, but I know that's not the case because I'm sure that North Carolina won theirs because they ended up making it to the national championship. So I'm going to go with 1988. 2 8s.
Of course, the 8s. Here we go again with the 8s. Oh boy, you know that's your signature guess. That's your signature guessing number.
It worked one time, so it has to work again.
Oh boy, yeah. Those 8s are ambitious. Go figure 8. Well, you should trademark that.
Okay.
Go figure 8.
If we ever, drop top of the standings clothing, that's like one of the things we'll have.
Yeah, top five on design ideas.
Yep.
Automatic. Go figure 8.
Yep, and game day nachos for sure. But that's for another story. That's for another day.
That's for another day. But right now we want to get go figure 8 on the market.
There you go.
But yeah, Drew. Obviously talked about a lot today. Like I said, everybody's got their eyes on March Madness because that's the only thing that we did not get last year.
Yeah, I mean, it came to an abrupt end. We saw some crazy teams that were they were going to go that we never got to see. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be exciting.
Yeah, and obviously I want to bring up, just some of the seniors, some of the players that did not get a chance to go dancing last year. Cassius Winston, like you said, when he kissed that Spartan logo, I had no idea that was going to be the last time that he would. Oh my gosh! And then Sabrina Ionescu, you remember? You probably remember her for 2K, 1K, 1K in women's college basketball. She was dropping triple doubles like insane.
Yep.
I even recommended one of the Oregon games for you to watch when there was no Pistons or Tigers games to watch, and you was like, "Oh, this girl is balling."
Yeah.
She didn't get to go dancing. We didn't get to see Obi Toppin go dancing. There were a lot of dudes that did not get to go dancing.
San Diego State.
So many teams that could have had a chance. I'm not going to speak Penn State into existence right now. We know where they're at. Thanks a lot, Coach Chambers. You screwed it all up. So yeah, but you know what? It's good that we have it this year, Drew.
It sure is. Same time next week.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude. Let's get it, March Madness. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode of Top of the Standings, give us that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or whatever streaming device you're using to watch or listen to Top of the Standings. Give us a like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and then give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. The Big 3. This has been episode 31, of Top of the Standings. We'll see you for episode number 32 next week. Peace.